Hey, I'm here with Buck Miller, and Buck and his wife Amy and their boys Avery and Wyatt have been worshiping with us for quite a while. And Buck earlier this year came to me and was sharing a story with me. And I haven't even shared this part with Buck yet, but when you were sharing this story with me, most of the time when people come to me after church, 80% of the time it's, I have a prayer request, will you pray with me, something's going wrong. And so you're sharing a story, and it sounds like good news, good news, good news. I keep waiting for the shoe to drop. I keep waiting for you to tell me something's gone awfully wrong, and you need prayer, and things are falling apart.
Right.
And after his story, he gives me this hug, and I'm like, oh, it's a good story, all right. And so he couldn't be here with his family on New Year's Eve day when we're sharing these stories, and so I asked him, I said, can we record this so that others can hear your story, because I think it's a great story, and it's a testimony that he has to share that I think will be beneficial to us all. So I want to just kind of ask you, can you share again the story that you were sharing with me about what happened and when it happened this year?
So I think you gave a sermon in November 14th. Maybe you did one before and one after, but it caught our attention about tithe. And we were also in a life group at the same time with Severances.
Okay.
I think we were probably in that long before the sermon that you
Right,
gave.
yeah.
But Anita said something as well, that you can't outgive God. Caught Amy's attention. She's like, really? So, and we had always tithed. Not consistently, maybe not the 10% or just, she just said, no, this is what we're going to do. And we did it. And it was, February of this year, I got a promotion. I was offered to manage a store in Cadillac for Standard Electric, and it came with a raise. I'm like, look at this. So I was only there a week, and another company called Kendall Electric, the company I'm with now, and they asked me if I wanted to come work for them. I said, well, let's talk. Let's, educate myself and make an educated decision.
Right.
So we did, and it was about 2 months later, and I took that position as an outside sales back in Traverse City, and that came with a large raise. So, and that was, I think April 10th was my first day there.
Huh.
And it's blessed.
Yeah.
So and there's another aspect of this too, that I didn't share with you then because I didn't know then. Mm-hmm. But we were running into some scheduling issues with Avery in Kalkaska schools with his music and trying to get all in honors classes. And so we opted to transfer him to Central in Traverse City. I got a super music program, and he was able to get all the classes that we wanted him to have, not that he wanted to have, but, so that, and with that said, we had to take him to Traverse City every morning and pick him up every night.
Yeah.
And other extracurricular activities, the van is pretty busy.
Right.
That put me back in Traverse City. I'm able to do that now.
Huh.
If I would have stayed in Cadillac, I wouldn't have been able to do that. It would have been a real struggle
Yeah.
for Amy because she works here in Kalkaska.
Right.
It would have just been tons of miles in the cars, and timing just would have been, it wouldn't have been an easy thing to do. So you look back now, I'm like, okay, God's guiding.
Yeah. He's orchestrating things for you. So let me go back to November if I can.
Okay.
And I didn't prepare Buck with these questions. So so when you said that you had always tithed, or it was as part of your life, the times that you weren't, what would you say would keep you from being faithful to tithing? Tithing means 10%, right? So
Yes.
So those times where you're like, we're not giving a tenth, or we're not giving. What would you say were the roadblocks that kept you from doing that in the seasons or even moments when you weren't?
Maybe not thinking about it.
Okay.
Probably money short at the end of the month,
Yeah.
or end of the week. It was always a little tight. I'm not saying the money ran out for the end of the month, but they met at the end often.
Pretty close.
Yeah. So those two things. Amy may have something else to say about that, but just not very consistent, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
And what was your feeling when Amy said, "Listen, we're doing this," and so every month they're like, November is close to Christmas, so there had to be some tight months. I'm guessing in there before the promotions and those kinds of things. What was that? What was that?
There were
struggle or even conversation like with Amy?
There probably wasn't much of a conversation. I just agreed.
Okay.
Right on, let's do it.
You're a good husband.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. So, yeah, we just agreed to do it, and we did it, and whatever it took.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember sometimes taking the last dollar out of my pocket, and that's
yeah,
all I have.
there you go. Yeah, okay,
You know, not that she didn't write a check too, but I'm like, that's not,
Right.
just what, we just did it faithfully.
yeah. So from this experience, I mean, what's your relationship with God like? I mean, when you pray now, when you consider who God is and that you are a Christian and you are headed for eternity in heaven, what does it cause you now to pause and think about your relationship with God?
Oh, yeah, see, you should have asked me this. a week
Should
ago.
gave you a warning.
Well, every morning I do a devotional. I never used to do that. And it just, I almost can't leave the house without doing it. And sometimes I'll forget. I'll have to pull over to the parking lot some mornings
Oh, wow.
and do it. I mean, I just need to do it.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah, that's cool.
I hope
So-
I answered that question, couldn't I?
No, that was
Because I
good.
was never.
No, that was good.
Never that consistent.
No,
before,
that's all
so I
right.
just-
And that's a great testimony to hear as well. I mean, it's not, I don't want people to get the impression that just because I give money, I'm going to get something from God. He wants our whole self, right?
Yes.
He wants everything about us when it comes to, yes, what He's financially or physically blessed us with, but also just, He wants our heart, right? He wants us to worship Him, and worship Him means praying, it means studying His Word. It's the whole package together. So what would you share with other people that are contemplating, okay, and tithing 10%, that's a lot of money. I mean, what would you say to them if they came to you and said, Buck, how did you go from, inconsistent to now, what, this is regimented, we realize this is God?
I think the association with people. I was in the life group of Severances and Zolans and Prices and some other people, and I think that consistency with those people
Okay.
helps a ton. I mean, just, I assume they're going to, but yeah, if you're, I don't know, like sometimes you get in trouble in high school and you're guilty by association.
Right.
Kind of the same thing, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So
community.
Yeah,
Christian community.
yeah,
Okay.
right, yep. And you pray about it and you just go on faith. I don't know what to say it, but it's really that simple. It seems not to me now, looking back.
Right.
But all right.
So what are you looking forward to most about Christmas?
Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just going to be Amy and the two boys, and that's it. Everybody going home.
Right.
They're going to come up today, and everybody's going home Sunday. So
Okay.
it's just going to be a quiet morning and celebrate the birth of Christ.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. Well, again, I want to thank Buck because, again, I wanted you to hear that story because, again, giving is not between you and the church, you and Andy. It's you and God. And Buck's testimony is absolutely right. It's their decision that they made to say, listen, we're going to do this. This is important. This is something that that the Bible teaches and that we want to be obedient to. And from that obedience, he's seen the faithfulness of God in providing for him. I'm not telling you that if you start tithing today, you're going to get a promotion at work or get a new job that's going to up your income 20%. I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that God is faithful. And Buck's story is one of many that people have realized that you cannot outgive God, that as we are faithful, God is faithful to us. Thank you.